So here we are, looking at the hollow shell of what was once a Norman church. And let's go and have a look. Surrounded by earthworks, and it's said to be the most haunted place in Dorset. So what better place to carry out a paranormal investigation, which is what we're going to do now. I've got my compass, so I'm going to keep an eye on the compass here and see if there's any kinetic energy distorting it. We'll see. Let's have a look. Let's go for a closer look. Plaque here. Knowlton Church and Earthworks, a Norman church extensively remodelled in the 14th century. It stands on inside a late Neolithic henge monument constructed in 2500 BC. So there we go. Let's have a look. Sway a bit. So as we walk towards the church, we come across the earthworks we can see here. Someone sat there. There's quite a substantial henge that we can see there surrounding the church. So it's nice. There are in fact 4 henges in this area, all constructed between 2000 and 2500 BC. So, and if we look, we can go up here. Someone walking their dog. 1 second. We walk up here. We can see the lanes surrounding the site. Said the black shark, the phantom black dog from hell, is said to roam, bringing death and destruction to all their eyes upon. Hopefully we won't see black shark today, in that case. That's what's going to happen to us. Back to the church. So what we're looking at here is basically ancient sacred enclosure. It's on these grounds that there have been multiple sightings of the figure of a phantom monk, and it's said to emit a menacing aura. So we'll see if we can encounter the monk today. Hopefully we can. We'll soon see them. Windy up here. The monk is usually seen in the daytime, and recently a woman came walking here with her 2 children when a figure dressed in dark robes appeared out of nowhere and proceeded to walk across her path and then vanished into thin air. So yeah, some eerie things going on here. No sign of the phantom monk so far though. Let's have a look. Let's move onward towards the church. The church was built in the 12th century by the Normans and was constructed on top of a Saxon church that was there before. You can see that there. It was remodeled in the 14th century when the tower was added. You see the tower there. There was a thriving village around the church until the mid 14th century, when when the Black Death decimated the local population and the village was basically abandoned. The church continued to be used until the mid-18th century when the roof collapsed and the building was then abandoned and left to go into disrepair, as we can see now. Let's have a closer look at these ruins then. So here we go. If we look at this, I actually managed to find an old map of what the church once was and what the various parts of the church were at one point. So if we have a look, I can just guide us around. Actually stood here now. So as we can see, the church is now ruins, but we can establish, using the floor plan I've just showed you, we can see the entrance to the church here, the ruins there. These are the remains of a porch, and this section would have been added to the original structure in the 15th century. And it's at this porch where the ghostly figure of a weeping woman, possibly a nun, is most commonly seen in a kneeling position facing the church. So let's just stand here and see. It would be here where the weeping woman would be. I'm going to see. Let's just check the compass and see if there's any interference, any kinetic energy interfering. No. Still facing, pointing north. Nothing, no reading at this stage. There's still time though. So let's have a look. We'll move into the church through this arch and look and see what we've got. This is the central part of the church there we're going into now, or nave. And you can see here is this section of the church which would have been part of the original structure that dates all the way back to the 12th century. That's what we're looking at here. So yeah, it's nice. And if we check to the right, this arch here. This arch there, and that would lead through. That would be the chancel, and again, that dates back to the 12th century. So let's have a look there. It's not a big church, but steeped in history. Let's go through here into the chancel. Yeah, so it would be in here where the choir would have been stationed during worship. So that's not bad. And if we go through here, north of the chancel, this section I'm in now, this is the North Chapel, which was added in the 15th century. So let's have a look, just a small part here. The ruins, the remains. Let's just move forward. Here we have the most modern part of the church. This is the north aisle. Just the remains of it there. This would have been added to the church in the 18th century. So, and then we can just walk along the north aisle and go back into the nave, or the central part of the church. go. Then we are faced now the most complete and most impressive part of the church, which is the 15th century tower. And we can see that there. Go into it. Go into the tower. Have a look. It was probably up there where the bell hung, which was taken away by the devil himself, never to be returned. So what we're going to do, let's have a quick look and see. Now I'm in this part, let's just have a quick look at the compass again and see if there's any interference, any kinetic energy interference. Oh, look at that there, at the compass there. Now, I think the spirits are not here today. That's not... It's just pointing north. Anyway, there's still time. So, these windows where faces would appear, especially that one, ghostly faces appear at these windows that people have reported. And we can it's an eerie place, this, I've got to admit. So yeah, that's what we've got. I've got to admit, yeah, it does feel very atmospheric and mystical here. I'm not surprised there's so much paranormal activity going on, but quite amazing. Let's have a walk through and just have one last look around. But historic